What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at Aftershock Festival 2022, and we are here with Taipei Houston. Thank you guys so much.
Hell yeah, thank you so much for
Going
having
on?
us.
How are
man.
you?
It's so cool to have you here. So you have two singles out now, As the Sun Sets and The Middle. Is this maybe a good representation of what, like the future Taipei Houston full-length album or EP is going to sound like, or is that just the tip of the iceberg?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's both. It's definitely like kind of a great way to get into it and start seeing what the band is really all about, but also like I want the people who are listening to it to just be wondering what else is going to be happening, because really the rest of the record just goes in kind of a lot of different places, but also at the same time it's definitely a good introduction,
Yeah, I think these two songs are a really good gateway to the rest of the album. The rest of the project coming in November is going to be really, really great, so stoked about it.
That's awesome. Was there like a preconceived idea of what you wanted Taipei Houston to sound like, or was there like a lot of experimentation and a lot of rolling the dice?
There was there was a lot of experimentation. I mean, I think it's kind of like a process where you have preconceived notions, but you also have to explore and figure it out. So it's kind of like a balance, like messing around with things, but also like figuring it out as you go along.
I think the main thing for us is we just wanted it to sound different and sound unique and kind of like against the grain in some kind of way, but through a process of kind of discovery and stumbling, you're finding those ways where you then end up going like, oh, that sounds different. You know what I mean? That sounds like something that we could do something with,
I don't normally ask this question, but with the name like Taipei Houston, I've seen a lot of bands, named after geographical locations. You guys have too.
Yeah.
Is there a specific meaning behind, going from Asia to the deep south with the name Taipei Houston in a way?
It's super deep. It runs. It's really a lot of deep meaning.
Oh.
That sounded so sarcastic.
No, I mean, honestly, for us, the main thing with it is it came about a little bit by accident, that name, and the thing that we liked about it is that it wasn't binding or anything like that. It wasn't called, we weren't called something where if you heard the band name, it gave you an idea about what we would be already, you know what I mean? The thing we really liked is Taipei Houston could be like a jazz band or a dance band, or it could be kind of anything, and that's really just what we liked about it, is that like I think the main thing that stuck with us about it is that like you don't really know what it is and you kind of have to find it for yourself, you know what I mean?
I do like the sensibility that it doesn't mean anything, like it's completely random. But I think if you think about it verbatim, I do like the concept that it's sort of like this sense of globalness or unity or something, where it's like not just, I don't know, I like it. I like that idea.
I was asking my friend about their guys, and he was trying to get a sense of a style. I was like, so is that like Chinese folk music mixed with like country or Pantera or something?
Yes, exactly. That's definitely what it is. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Now, being that you guys are brothers, did you always grow up playing music together, or did you guys form this band like kind of like knowing you're like almost like you're the perfect member to play this style in a way, or were you did you kind of like seek each other out?
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we always kind of played together and messed around with different things, and obviously, like, Miles is my older brother, so he introduced me to a lot of music. When you're younger, that's how you find a lot of it. But then, at a certain point, we were kind of on different paths and just doing different things, and then kind of like realized that we both came from, musically, like listening to the same stuff, thinking about things in the same way, and just kind of realized like, oh, we could kind of develop a partnership here, like working on this stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think the thing with us being brothers is like we know each other well, we know how to work with each other well, but then also sort of we know like how to support each other in that as well, you know what I mean? And so I think like it's always just been great getting to work with him, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the Cavalera brothers, the Gojira brothers, the Alien Weaponry brothers, and
Totally.
Another set of brothers right here. Now, circling back to the singles, as you mentioned before, I do see a lot of different styles in it. I think rock fans could appreciate this. I think metal fans could appreciate this. But so is this sound that we're hearing from Taipei Houston, is that just a result of maybe having different sources of musical inspiration?
Definitely. I think we're very all over the map with what we listen to, do you know what I mean? And have been all over the place with what we love and just listen to all this different stuff all the time. So I think it's definitely just sort of a giant melting pot of everything we liked, you know what I mean? Like when I listen back to it, or when I think about what I was referencing when I was writing, or like what I was listening to, like very all over the map, like everything from jazz to like super heavy stuff to electronic, like rock, like everything, you know what I mean? So I think it's cool to hear the different things in it, you know?
Yeah. And that could definitely allow you guys to play with different bands as well, right? Like you're doing a festival right now that's pretty diverse, but I could see you touring with, like a band like Shinedown or 3 Days Grace, but you could tour with a band as heavy as like Slipknot or Lamb of God.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I think for us, just the main thing we're interested in is just like casting a wide net. Do you know what I mean? And just sort of like, I think people like music, that is like good songs and crazy and just good energy, regardless of if it gets super heavy or it's lighter or it's medium heavy, whatever. And for us, we were kind of just like, this is, an intense kind of thing that we like expressing, you know what I mean, with some of the craziness of the music, and we just want to be able to play it for honestly anybody. Like, I hope people who are into heavy stuff can come and listen to it, like you're saying, or lighter stuff, or just anything, because for us it really like, it's not about any boundaries of like how loud or how many strings you're using or anything like that. You know what I mean?
It almost seems like it adds to the name more, because there's Taipei and Houston are very far from each other, but there's really no borders within songwriting. That's maybe my interpretation.
Yeah, that's a good interpretation. I license that interpretation. Yeah.
Please, it's all yours. It's all yours. When you're playing a festival like this on a massive stage like this versus playing at like a regular venue or something like that, is the experience of a live performance completely different as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool getting to play at the festivals because you're playing with kind of, again, like a wide variety of bands, you know what I mean? And I think that, like, getting to see that and always getting to see the people setting up right, because with festivals, it's so much a quicker turnaround. So setting up right before you and you're seeing them play, and it just gets, for me, it kind of gets me fired up. And then I'm like, oh, man, this band that's on before us is really killing it now. Like, we got to kind of, like, up our game or something like that. And then, like, on top of that, just getting to walk around and check out so many different bands is always, like, because we're just honestly big music people. Like, we love listening to different bands. So definitely a festival is very inspiring for sure.
Yeah.
And when it comes to playing live, is there maybe a similar energy that you channel into your live presence as you are when you're songwriting?
Sorry, you said when it comes to what?
When it comes to playing live. Is there a different energy into playing live versus songwriting, or do you consider them either very similar or two completely separate arts?
Definitely. I think that the duo live setup came out of like a way of, if you listen to the recorded music, there's a bunch of guitars and like music, like you could have a 5-piece play the songs, you know what I mean? But the live thing came out of a like, how do we make it weird and fun and crazy and do it just the two of us live? And so I think it's like, it's a fun exploration to have, and it's cool to have that duality between the recorded music and the live music. You know?
Yeah, no, and that's one of the main reasons I'm excited for people to hear the project, because like when the full thing comes in November, like Miles played all the guitars on the record, like, and so I kind of always shout him out for that during the show. But then I'm excited to hear people hear kind of some of his more like intricate guitar work, because there's a lot of stuff he does that's really, really cool.
Yeah, 100%. And you guys ready for the most difficult question of the whole interview? I want you both to elaborate because I get a different answer. How do you know when a song is done?
When a song is done?
Yeah.
It's funny because like I find songwriting generally to be like the most elusive process, where you're like, it's this very subtle feeling the whole time when you're writing. Do you know what I mean? And I've always felt like knowing when a song is done is a subtle feeling as well. Like, you can pretty much, when a song is done, pound it into the ground 100 times more if you want, but it might be done a lot earlier than you think it is. So I think it's kind of a subtle thing that you actually have to like let go of. You have to tell yourself it's done and then be done. You know?
Yeah, and it's funny too, because like on this record, there's some of the songs that were done, and that's why I'm trying to think about it, because some of the songs we wrote in about like 10 minutes, and then they were done, and they haven't changed since that first 10 minutes. And then there's some songs that over months were being turned over and different things and stuff like that. And I think like at a certain point, you just know like when you feel that the pieces are all fitting right there in the right way, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like that's a great question. That's a really great question.
You guys answered it better than like 90% of the people I've asked that to. So excellent job to you guys. And finally, you said you have a full-length album coming out in November. Is there just anything else with Taipei Houston you'd like to promote?
Yeah, no, I mean, for us, so we just did this aftershock here, and that's where we are today. And, we're jumping out to Austin City Limits. We're doing both weekends. And, November 4th, our debut project, Once Bit, Never Bored, drops everywhere, streaming and everything. And we just have a lot coming in the next year, and we're really excited to announce it as well. So, yeah, looking forward to it. And we have a headline show in San Francisco that we just announced, actually, which I believe is November 2nd. So anybody in the San Francisco area, please come out, because we're going to have a lot of fun there.
Hell yeah, that's going to be awesome. And please just promise me you guys will bring it to New York City one day.
Definitely. That's like one of our most highly requested places we want to play, for sure.
You guys are welcome here. There's plenty of stages with your name on it. Thank you so much. Everybody, we are here with Taipei Houston. Check out their 2 new singles, As the Sun Sets and The Middle, and we will see you next time on Heavy New York, Aftershock 2022.